When somebody says, how can God hear my prayer and the prayer of the little boy on the other side of the earth at the same time? They're not understanding the nature of God. Listen, God has all of eternity to listen to the last split-second prayer of a pilot as his plane goes down in flames. Every prayer you ever prayed is now to God. God listens to your prayers for eternity. Speaking of eternity, what is it? Eternity is that situation where time does not exist. Now think. Think. If time does not exist, what else doesn't exist? And some of you say, well, time and space are inseparably linked. Space doesn't exist. Yeah, exactly. You can be everywhere in space now if there is no time. What else won't exist? Well, there won't be any death in eternity. Why not? Because death is dependent upon the passage of time. If I could stop time right now, you would never die. There will be no physical pain in eternity. Why not? Well, because physical pain is dependent upon the time it takes for the signal to go from what gets hurt, like my toe, to what registers what gets hurt. If I could stop time, would the signal ever get from my toe to my brain? I have a son who has muscular dystrophy. Do you know how they check on the progression of the disease? They put an electrical shock in his foot, and they measure how long it takes the pain sensation to drive through his nervous system and register in his brain, measuring that on an electroencephalogram. And by comparing the time now to the time 10 years ago, they can measure the rate at which the MD is progressing. If time stopped, would the signal ever get to his brain? See, if there's no time, there's no physical pain. Now, there are other kinds of pain. That's what hell's all about, but not pain that depends upon nerve endings and brain tissue and all that. There'll be no more tears when there's no time. No sorrows, nor crying. And if you know your Bible, I'm sure you see that I have just given you a verbatim quote of Revelation 21, verse 4, which tells us what it will be like to be in heaven. A timeless condition, free of every miserable constraint that time brings upon us. And when someone says, who created God? Where did God come from? Once again, they're demonstrating they do not understand the nature of God.